Alright guys, so another thing for you is before we start on our other project, since that's all the electrical we're going to be doing, you're going to want to put your fuse in, tuck it away, and then start your bike. Make sure she starts, make sure that all your wiring's still good, you've clipped everything in right. So boom, we've started it, and it started at 100%. So the next thing we're going to be doing is raising the seat, and of course adding a back seat and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so prepping to do this, you're going to want to go right here, and you're going to want to, if you've already put it back in, or if you didn't take it out the last time, you're going to have to pull out the back seat or the back tank bolt, so that way we can mount the plate for the seat height, so we can add some height to the seat. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so next thing you're going to have to do is the old seat keyhole mount right here. We're going to have to pull that out. So next thing you want to do is pull this piece out. Alright guys, so the next thing we did is we flipped this bolt up through here. You have to go on a swooping motion. Once you get it up and in there, you tighten this bolt on top, which is what I did without the camera in my hands, and then we thread lock the top, because now that we have both these bolts out, this plate is just going to come on like so. And now we're going to, whoops, sorry dude, we're going to just put this bolt in through here, or back through there, and then we're going to put the locking nut on the top. If you look, all the top bolts have the nylon lock on it, so that way you can lock it down. Anyways, stay tuned for the next section, and we'll show you where to go from there. Just get those two bolts on. Alright guys, so actually before you put this metal plate on, I would highly suggest that you bolt the bottoms of these seat springs in, because it is really a fun task to do. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring the bolt up through. Actually, well, it already comes with the bolt on there, but what you're going to have to do is put the washer, then the spring, then the washer, and then the nylon lock nut. And you have to, as you can see how he's doing it right here, we're tightening it through the actual coil of the spring. And then after we do that, we'll bolt the plate on, and then you have to get the top piece on. Choose your poison. You can either bolt it to the top first, and then once you have this on the bike, you can bolt this to the bottom. It's going to be difficult either way. It's a nice little fun thing to do. Anyways, stay tuned, and we'll show you once it's on, and we'll tell you if there's any other little neat tricks that we can tell you about. Alright guys, so once you get that on, you're just going to put that bolt there, the bolt back there, and then you'll see that there is a bolt that comes with this metal rail from which you're going to bolt your seat to. So we put the bolt through here, and we put the nylon nut on the other side, put it on loosely now, so that way we can put on our seat. You'll see the two in the center. These two, you'll put the posts through, put the washers through, put the two nuts on, and then you're going to, of course, do the same thing we did on this side with these two back bolts. So it's pretty simple, and then you'll just tighten everything up. We'll show you what it looks like after we're done. Hey guys, so just to show you how the posts sit in here, as you can see we got the posts here. And if I fold this up, we still have to tighten that one bolt, but see how first thing we did is line those bolts up so that both these ones will go in. So you want to first, that's why they're on the sliding rail, line them up so you can get that perfect in, and then tighten those two bolts up. You might be able to get under there with a nice small socket, and then of course you can tighten that up. Now the other thing we're going to be doing is that acorn that came with this, the Torx bolt one that we popped out from back here in the fender well for the keyhole mount to go in. We're actually going to put that back in because we like it there just to hold the fender. If you have a spare bolt, you might be able to get in there too with a smaller spare bolt. Apparently we were supposed to get an acorn style nut that goes right here, and then you tie in the smaller bolt, and we didn't actually get that. So instead we're just going to try and, like I said, we'll just find a bolt and we'll put it on here with a nut to hold it in, and we'll not Loctite it so that way it holds it right here. And if you're wondering why the heck did they put that white wrapping right there, it's actually for when we're putting in these two seat bolts, so that way the washers don't slide down in here, because the last thing you want is the washer to slide down in here, and then you got to take this all apart to get the washer to try and put this back in the spring. Be a headache. So other than that, stay tuned and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. From this point, all you really have left is to put the washer and the nut on both of these, and then tighten everything down. And if you want to, for the fender mount right here, if you have the acorn and the bolt, tighten that down, and so that way it holds your fender properly right here. Stay tuned, because the next part we're going to have to do is put in the rear seat too. So, yep, stay tuned. Alright guys, so we've tightened up all the bolts, and that's what that seat looks like. Next thing we're going to be doing now is putting our rear seat on. So you're going to have to pop out one of these. It's super easy. All you do is get your fingernail underneath it and pop it like so. This one I'm going to pop back in because we're keeping it. And then we already have a threaded piece right here, which that will be staying there because we're going to bolt in the front of the seat right there. And then we've got this right here from which we're going to bolt in the back piece of the seat. So it's going to be like that. So it's just 2 bolts. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty much what we just did here. So just bolt that on and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. Alright, cool. Alright guys, so as you can see, back seat's on. Pretty easy. You might have to jimmy rig something to tighten this bolt underneath. What I did is I just put the socket piece on, or the piece on, and then I took an open box wrench like this. And that allowed me to tighten it like so. If you take a look, just use that to tighten it there. And then this one is pretty easy. You just get your hand. You're going to have to take someone with small hands or something. You're just going to hold the bolt, because you run it, your hand up here just along the tire, up to the back there. So you're holding the bolt while you tighten that down, and then you can hold it with a socket wrench once you get the bolt started. So once that tightens up and this is all solid, now that's all done. Let's get a zoom out shot of this. See, it looks pretty slick. And now the next thing that we're going to have to do is the pedals. We're going to be switching these out, our kicks right here, for the pedals, which are right here. And so you're going to need a special tool if you want to do that. They're cheap enough. Ours is from like Canadian Tire. It's a combination snap ring plier, so that way we can spread it apart so we can pop that out, because it uses what I call Jesus clips, because if they fling, they fly, and everyone yells Jesus as it flies by their head. Alright? So, and that's me saying that without swearing. So, anyways, right here, all you're going to do is pop the clip off of here on this side so we can push the pin through. And how you're going to do that is just with this. You're going to line it up and then have it so when you squeeze, it spreads it, and then you drop it off. Alright? Cool. So just drop that clip off and we'll pop this pin out. Alright guys, so once you get that clip off, as you can see, ours got mangled. If yours does too, don't worry, because if you're buying new ones, usually they come with a new set of clips, so you can put that on. And as you can see, we're just lining up the hole here, and in slides the pin again. And after you get the pin in, then you just put the new clip on by squeezing it on, and it'll work in from there. But we're just going to probably lube up the pin a little bit and go from there. Okay, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so after you get the pedals in, which was just like, yeah, took them off like we showed you, put your foot up here, and yeah, you just want to make sure that your foot rests on here if you're switching this part out too. This kit came with the front part too, so what we did is removed the old one, which was right here, which is just your Allen key bolt, and then you put in the new one, and like I said, you just put your foot up here so that way you can see how you like it, and then you just bolt it in, or have someone bolt it in with your foot there, whichever way. But anyways, that's everything really for this bike that we're doing today. If you take a look here, show Mike on his bike, and you can see, like, looks a lot better. Now he can sit on here, have his daughter on the back, and he can cruise around town. That tank lift definitely left a lot more open space now, brings it up a bit, looks really clean. Took out the plastic extra stuff that was in there. The coil moving kit, which relocated over here, turned out great. New wires, and yeah, I mean, you got the new seats, you got the new pedals. Looks sick, eh? Alright, well, thanks again for watching, guys. And of course, if you liked the video, press the like button. And if you want to see some more projects that I've done, press the subscribe button. Who knows, I might actually get some more videos of this bike up. So always stay tuned. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. Peace.